Coming up on Chapman News, down to the wire, negotiations on Capitol Hill to avoid the government going broke, plus a key vote on the president's ambitious agenda. We'll have the very latest.
COVID confusion. Who should be getting those booster shots? And what happens if your booster hasn't yet been approved by the government? We'll sort it out with Dr. Jerica Lamb.
And our deep dive into social media, how internet detectives are trying to solve the murder case that's taken the nation by storm. All that and more on this spring edition of Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to our first fall episode of Chapman News. I'm Barbara Fox.
And I'm Shambhalin Fairley. We begin today with two COVID-19 stories breaking this morning. Drug company Merck is reporting some very encouraging news about an experimental pill used in a study of COVID patients. Hospitalizations and death rates were cut in half for those who took the pill. It may be the first pill proven to treat the virus, which could give hospitals across the country some relief. Merck is asking U.S. health officials to approve the pill as quickly as possible. A decision from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration could come within just a few weeks. It is important to note, though, that the Merck pill is not a substitute for vaccination.
The other major COVID news this afternoon is an announcement from the Supreme Court that Justice Brett Kavanaugh has tested positive for the coronavirus. A spokesperson for the High Court said Kavanaugh was fully vaccinated in January and does not have any symptoms. She said he was tested ahead of the ceremony taking place today for the newest Justice, Amy Coney Barrett. Kavanaugh will not attend that event. At this hour, there is still gridlock on Capitol Hill. While the House and Senate finally agreed on a bill to avert the government shutdown, there is still trillions of dollars on the line for Americans. Democrats are still scrambling to pass President Biden's ambitious economic agenda, but moderates and progressives can't come up with an agreement just yet.
I don't think that there is a deal yet on the reconciliation bill, and that is what we have been very clear that we need if we're going to vote yes on the infrastructure bill.
On the other hand, moderates are holding the key to the passage, like Senator Joe Manchin and Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman. Manchin told Joe Biden that he's still willing to agree to a $1.5 trillion deal instead of the $3.5 trillion deal that was originally proposed.
I think we feel comfortable that we're being listened to, and I think it is clear to those that are part of our discussions that we are very serious about where we stand on this issue.
The needs we have right now and what we can afford to do without basically changing our whole society to an entitlement mentality.
Yet Nancy Pelosi is still pushing the infrastructure bill and is promising a vote later today. However, Pelosi has said in the past if she does not have the votes, she'll not bring it to the floor.
And there were more fireworks in the nation's capital this week as members of the Armed Services Committee grilled top military leaders about Afghanistan. Peyton Bell joins us with more. Peyton?
General Milley and other top military officials were repeatedly grilled about the events leading up to the evacuation from Afghanistan, particularly how quickly the Afghan government fell to the Taliban.
We absolutely missed the rapid 11-day collapse of the Afghan military and the collapse of their government.
And Milley was asked why his advice to keep 2,500 troops in Kabul was ignored by the president.
The president doesn't have to agree with that advice. He doesn't have to make those decisions.
While some of the general's answers satisfied lawmakers, they made it clear the investigation will continue. In other political news, a federal judge is considering temporarily blocking the Texas abortion ban following the Biden administration's request. Today, the judge will evaluate whether the new law signed by Governor Abbott 2 weeks ago should be put on hold pending a new ruling on its constitutionality. The measure forbids abortions once doctors can detect a heartbeat, usually taking place around 6 weeks, before most women even know that they're pregnant. That's the political rundown for the week. Back to you at the desk.
The CDC issued a health alert Wednesday urging pregnant women to get vaccinated against the coronavirus. The CDC said only 31% of pregnant women have been vaccinated. There have been more than 125,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in pregnant women. The CDC says pregnant women who contract the coronavirus are twice as likely to end up in the ICU and have 70% increased risk of death.
You've been vaccinated, but should you get a booster shot? Many Americans are confused about whether they should get an additional dose. Adrian Mitchell has the story.
We have plenty of opportunity to make sure we get everyone in the world to play our part.
The president received his Pfizer vaccine booster Monday. He first recommended that Americans get the additional shot 6 weeks ago. He also said the booster would be available to all vaccinated Americans by the end of September. But his announcement was premature. It came well before the FDA finished evaluating the data about the need or effectiveness for booster shots. Biden's announcement prompted two of the FDA's top vaccine regulators to leave the agency in protest. Then, on September 22nd, the FDA authorized Pfizer booster shots for 3 groups of people: those over 65, those at high risk of severe COVID-19, and those at risk because of their jobs. The following day, the CDC published its own booster shot eligibility guidelines. Unlike the FDA, the CDC did not recommend booster shots for those at risk because of their jobs. The next day, the CDC director overruled her own agency and recommended booster shots for those at risk because of their jobs.
The majority of Americans who were fully vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine are now able to receive the booster shot 6 months after they've received their second shot.
Chapman student Saleh Abedi is eligible for booster shots because she was originally vaccinated with Pfizer and is at high risk of severe COVID-19. Abedi is the president of the Spoonies, a campus group that advocates for those with chronic and invisible disabilities.
You can be young and have a disability, and also a lot of people don't realize that we're higher risk because we might look normal, but getting COVID is either life-threatening for us, even though we are young, or it will create extra pain for us. Getting the vaccine, and especially the booster shot, will make sure that we all feel comfortable.
Chapman professor John Nielsen is also eligible for the booster because of his age and his job. However, Nielsen cannot receive a Pfizer booster shot because he was originally vaccinated with Moderna, which is still being reviewed by the FDA.
If I had gotten a Pfizer shot and it was time for me to get a booster, which it would be, I would get it, you know. I might feel a little guilty about getting a booster when other people in other parts of the world can't get it.
Some argue that Biden's booster plan could make it difficult to meet his goal of vaccinating 70% of the world's population within a year, since we'll be using the vaccinations for our booster shots. The editorial board from the New York Times writes, the administration's misfire leaves little confidence in its ability to navigate a coming roster of crucial decisions about whether to authorize shots for those who received the Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccines. This is Adrian Mitchell from Chapman News.
Joining us now to discuss the booster controversy is Chapman's medical expert, Dr. Jerica Lamb. She's an infectious disease expert in pharmacology and viral infections. Dr. Lamb, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And there has been a lot of confusion, since President Biden urged Americans to get a booster shot weeks ago. Americans are confused. And many people are wondering, if you didn't get a Pfizer vaccination, does that mean you can't get the Pfizer booster shot?
If the individual had not received any vaccinations, then we strongly encourage them to get the vaccination. I think for this type of individual, the booster is not even a consideration. They should go ahead and fulfill the series of 2 shots.
Just a follow-up, if you didn't get the Pfizer vaccination, when will there be booster shots approved for people who got the Moderna or the J&J shot?
Hopefully we'll hear from the FDA about the booster shots for those 2 vaccines in a few weeks. So October will be an exciting month to watch out for. And I got the Moderna vaccine, so I'm just waiting for the safety data to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to the Pfizer vaccine, who is eligible for that booster shot currently, and when can we expect that the booster shot will be available for everyone?
The booster shot is still available for the elderly, 65 years and older, immunocompromised individuals with underlying chronic conditions, and also adults who feel that they are at risk of maybe contracting the virus, or actually in a high density population where perhaps many people around them are not vaccinated and can be carriers of the virus.
Well, thank you for clarifying. And like I mentioned earlier, the Biden administration got a lot of heat for their mixed messaging earlier this week about the booster shots. Do you think they need to be more clear in regards to their messaging? And more importantly, does this give more reason for anti-vaxxers to not get the vaccine?
I agree. A clear single message should be given to the community, to the public as a whole. And it does give ammunition for anti-vaxxers as well, to say that basically the scientists and healthcare officials, as well as Congress people, don't know what they're doing.
Well, Dr. Lamb, thank you so much for clearing up the confusion for us and our viewers.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck, everyone. Get your vaccines.
Coming up on Chapman News, how an army of internet detectives is trying to solve the Gabby Potido murder, and how social media has turned the murder into a national cause.
I'll be along with the steamy forecast for October.
Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
The disappearance of 22-year-old Gabby Potido has sparked national attention, with millions of people following the case online. Our social media coordinator, Rachel King, is here in the studio to talk to us about it.
So Rachel, what can you tell us about the case?
Hundreds of thousands of people are reported missing in the United States every year, but rarely do they attract the same attention as Gabby Potido, a woman who went missing last month on a camping trip with her fiancé. One key difference with this case, however, is her social media presence.
Hello, and good morning.
Gabby Potido was an aspiring social media influencer sharing content of her van life to her thousands of followers. Since her disappearance, her social media skyrocketed. The hashtag Gabby Potido on TikTok has been viewed over 1.2 billion times, with her Instagram account also gaining over 1.2 million followers. Experts, such as psychologist Dr. Saul Rosenthal, believe that this case gained such public attraction due to the interactive nature of social media platforms. Rosenthal says users see themselves as active players in the case as opposed to passive recipients of information.
This is Gabby Potido. She is 22 years old and she is missing.
On TikTok, users such as Haley Tamayan upload frequent updates with every new development and discuss possible theories with their followers, each video amassing millions of likes and views. Tamayan says she felt drawn to Gabby's story and decided to upload a video to her platform of 170,000 TikTok followers in response. As a true crime podcaster, she knew that social media could make a difference in a case. These observant digital detectives have not only been instrumental in actively spreading awareness around the case, but also by uncovering key pieces of evidence. Van life bloggers Kyle and Jen Bethune are a testament to this.
If you were in the Tetons on August 27th, to please look through anything that you have, think through it, and lo and behold, Gabby's van was recorded in there by a complete accident.
The couple immediately contacted the FBI, leading to the eventual discovery of Potido's remains. Within 5 days, the viral hashtag #FindGabbyPotido became Justice for Gabby after the power of social media helped begin to unravel this mystery. While this case is still ongoing, Tamayan recognizes that the power of her platform may allow her to bring justice and awareness to other unsolved cases.
We're going to keep reaching more people. We're going to keep finding people who are missing. We're going to help get justice for victims that have not gotten justice. We're not going to stop. We have such a big opportunity to make a difference in the world. And we're not going to stop.
The worldwide buzz surrounding this case is proof of the impact and power social media holds. Now, the latest update is that the FBI have recently obtained what they believe to be a burner cell phone that Brian Laundrie purchased on September 4th. However, one of his attorneys denies that this is the case. Additionally, newly released body camera footage reveals Potido telling Moab police officers that Laundrie had hit her during an argument. Now, back to you at the desk.
The Orange Police Department arrested a suspect in the attempted sexual assault incident that took place on Chapman's campus last Friday. On Tuesday, Durlant Bell was charged with assault with intent to commit rape and is being held on $500,000 bail. A family relative turned the 22-year-old man into the authorities. Police released a photo of him to the public. In the wake of the incident, public safety has increased on-campus patrols and recommends students travel in pairs or use safety escort services.
Investigations are underway into 2 recent fatal police-involved shootings in our area. Monday afternoon in Long Beach, 18-year-old Mona Rodriguez was shot in the head by a Long Beach Unified School District public safety officer after the officer intervened in a fight between Rodriguez and a 15-year-old girl. Rodriguez was taken off of life support Thursday night. As for the officer, they have been placed on a paid leave while an investigation is conducted.
New figures released this week by the FBI are reporting the highest murder rates in the United States since 1960. Over the past year, there has been a 30% increase in murders, with over 20,000 people killed in 2020 alone. About 77% of the homicides reported this year were committed with firearms. And in response, President Joe Biden has proposed a $5 billion plan to work with local communities to prevent gun violence. The high rates of killings have slowed in 2021, but are still far greater than they were pre-pandemic. Here's a new study that caught our eye. According to the journal Science, children born this year will experience 7 times more heat waves, 3 times as many droughts, and twice as many wildfires than people born 60 years ago.
This means if you are currently under 40 years old, you too will likely feel the effects of climate change in your lifetime.
Kiana Favela has your weather update. Today, it's some more information about how climate change could be impacting us right now.
That's right, Barbara. In fact, it looks like we'll be experiencing some effects of climate change this month. As you can see, it looks like October will be another unusually hot month. Temperatures are predicted to be above normal in most of the nation. Some states even have a 50 to 60% chance of hotter temperatures. Now, today in Orange right now, it's 84 degrees and sunny. It's also going to get a little bit warmer throughout the day, so you might want to be in a cool tank top or a t-shirt instead of a fall sweater. Looking at our national forecast, it's cooling off a bit in Seattle and in Denver, both with temperatures in the 60s today. However, if you're going to be in Sin City this weekend, it'll be a nice warm 85 degrees. Also warming up in San Francisco today at 72 degrees. We're going to move over east, and it looks like New York will be the coolest on the east at 70 degrees right now. Washington, D.C. is just above that at 71 degrees. Minneapolis, also in the 70s, but just barely at 79 degrees. Chicago, Austin, Atlanta, and Miami all sitting in the 80 degrees range today, with Chicago at 81 degrees, Austin at 84, Atlanta at 85 degrees, and Miami at 84, also with a little bit of rain. Here's our Orange County forecast. So it's heating up here in Orange right now, 90 degrees from Westminster, Irvine, Mission Viejo, and San Clemente, all really warm as we expect for inland. But on the coast, it's looking nice, 78 degrees in Newport, 79 degrees in Laguna Beach, much cooler than the inland weather. Now we're gonna go to the 7-day forecast. From today till Monday, it's looking really warm, 90 degrees throughout. Today's gonna be a high of 91 degrees. Tomorrow will be a high of 93, Sunday 94, and Monday 90 degrees. Should be cooling down a little bit Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but not too much because it'll still be a little bit warm. Tuesday's high is 81 degrees, Wednesday's high is 79 degrees, Thursday's high is 75 degrees. It'll be sunny for the whole week, and as far as lows go, today's low is 58 degrees, but for the rest of the week, you can expect a low between 60 to 64 degrees, so we'll be cooling off a little bit throughout the night. That's your weather for the week. I'm Kiana Favela.
College sports are back, leaving graduating seniors a choice: one last ride or moving on to adulthood. We'll have more on how the NCAA's extra year of eligibility impacts Chapman athletes.
And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Yesterday, the City of Orange and Mary's Kitchen met in federal court, where no decision was made. It is the latest in the fight over the shelter's future and its mission. Chapman News reporter Taylor Sato has more.
Mary's Kitchen is a community outreach program founded in 1984. Founder Mary McEnena was 84 years old when she began providing food and a safe place for unsheltered people living in Orange's Hart Park. Mary's Kitchen has operated from its current location on West Struck Avenue in Orange since 1994. The staff provides food, day shelter, a place to do laundry, basic hygiene, and medical services to about 330 people each week. Executive Director Gloria Seuss says she was surprised when she learned the City of Orange wants to close Mary's Kitchen. The agency has a contract with the city to occupy the space until 2024.
We're only here to take care of you until we can get you to take care of yourself. We always told them that. And that's our plan. If they get a job that needs steel-toed boots, we do provide those. You see, those are the kind of things that we do on a one-to-one basis.
Seuss also takes issue with the city's claim that the services Mary's Kitchen provides are a temporary fix and don't address long-term solutions to homelessness.
Now, why would they pick this time when we have over 2 years left on our contract? There has to be some underlying reason, don't you think? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. They can say, oh, well, we want the continuum of care. Well, we've been doing the continuum of care before it became a word.
But City of Orange Council member Chip Monaco has been quoted saying, Mary's Kitchen will close, and we will start over with a clean slate and figure out how to go next and where to go next. Mary's Kitchen was successful in getting one reprieve earlier this month when a federal judge ruled closing the shelter would cause irreparable harm to the shelter's clients. Attorney Brooke Weitzman is representing Mary's Kitchen. She says the City Council declined to meet with her prior to court hearings. Weitzman says the services provided by Mary's Kitchen are essential.
The group of individuals who rely upon Mary's Kitchen are in large part kind of the more vulnerable community. The people who come to that day shelter every day are often veterans who receive their medication there, often people with disabilities who don't have a different safe place to wait, often women survivors of domestic violence or sexual assault who feel safer inside of those walls where there are people to look out for them than they are when they're out alone on the street. And so that kind of sense of safety, ability to access medication, ability to access resources is often the difference between surviving and not being assaulted, or being assaulted again and maybe, and in some cases, not surviving.
In its argument for closing Mary's Kitchen, the city cites numerous recent police responses to the shelter, some involving violence by clients and complaints about loitering. Seuss says she and her staff have hired security and have addressed the concerns. And she says closing the shelter would have serious and dangerous consequences for the community. I'm Taylor Sato, reporting for Chapman News.
Southern California has a lot to look forward to in sports, with a potential MVP candidate unlike any other and a Super Bowl halftime show for the ages.
With all the latest sports news, both in SoCal and at Chapman, is Jack Hull. Jack, take it away.
Welcome back, for the first time this semester, to the Best Campus Sports Show. First off, some exciting news for the LA area is yesterday, the NFL announced the performers for the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. The star-studded lineup features hip-hop legends Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg. Moving on to Chapman Sports, junior Aiden Wall put up just the 19th hat trick in Chapman school history last Saturday for men's soccer, scoring 3 goals in a 4-1 win over Laverne. Men's soccer has bounced back from a 2-4 start to the season in winning their last 2 games. And in a special twist to this Chapman season, a handful of graduated athletes are back on campus for an extra fall season after the NCAA extended their eligibility after COVID. Luca Evans has more.
Happy birthday to you!
They're only 22 years old,
In fact, Riley Pigeon just had her birthday last week. But on Chapman women's soccer, Pigeon and teammate Morgan Lynch are known as grandmas.
When did that start?
We kind of made that up. Kind of like summer when we were all training together. Someone just said it one time and it just stuck and our coach just caught on like the first day of tryouts.
They're grandmas because Pigeon and Lynch, like a handful of athletes in a unique twist this season, are fifth-year seniors. Due to COVID-19 wiping out most or all of the fall 2020 athletic season, the NCAA granted an extra year of eligibility to athletes, forcing seniors like football captain Dylan Keefe to decide if they'd move on from Chapman or hang around for a fifth year.
Speaking for myself, that year in between was hard mentally. I mean, you want to play so bad and you're not getting to play. You didn't go out the way you wanted it to.
Keefe, among others on the football team, decided to stay for one last ride after a championship-winning 2019 season. That was the case for Pigeon, who took her 2020 fall semester off in hopes she'd be able to play in 2021. Yet some, like Pigeon's former teammate Emmy Farber, simply wanted to move on with their lives.
I kind of wanted to get my life started post-grad.
Keefe's teammate and fellow captain Chris Churtis is taking 2 classes to maintain eligibility and said football is now 90% of his life. While the extra time for football is nice, Churtis and his teammates sometimes feel caught in between the bubble of college life and the adult world.
In 3 months, 4 months, whatever, like we're going to be done. Like we're adults, like we're going to have to be like in the real world applying for jobs. Well, I should be doing that now. But
Even for those like Farber who have moved on, there's a bittersweetness. She's gone to a couple of the women's soccer games so far this season, screaming her lungs out from the stands, and said it's a cool perspective after playing alongside them for so many years.
Emotions wise, like, you know, obviously just like happiness for them. Pride, a little bit of like sadness, but like it's like a good sadness.
Ultimately, despite the moments of weirdness, Farber feels comfortable in her decision, and Pigeon and the football players are ready for one last dance before the job market comes calling. Chapman News, I'm Luke Evans.
Meanwhile, it has been the most heavenly of seasons for the Los Angeles Angels, but fans have been treated to a historic season from Shohei Ohtani. The question, will it be enough to win the American League Most Valuable Player award? Angel Stadium has gone into a frenzy every time Ohtani has stepped to the plate this season. He's putting together a year some are calling the greatest ever, thanks to his prowess as both a hitter and a pitcher.
Way with joy about the game that I think it hides how difficult it actually is.
But will Ohtani's efforts be recognized enough to take home the MLB's top honor? While Ohtani ranks among the American League leaders in hitting, Toronto Blue Jays slugger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hasn't beat in a number of areas. But Madden says what Ohtani has done as a pitcher this season, starting a game on the mound and hitting in the main part of the lineup that same day, is unprecedented. The Angels organization is certainly pulling for Ohtani. It remains to be seen if voters will too. On to the other side of town, both the Dodgers and the Giants have clinched playoff spots, but the division, along with the top seed, is still up for grabs. The clubs boast the 2 best records in baseball, but for one team, second best can make all the difference. As of this morning, the Giants hold a 2-game lead. Whoever wins will advance straight to the playoffs, while the other will have to play a wild-card game to get in. Both teams kick off their final regular season series today as the Giants host the Padres and the Dodgers host the NL Central Division champion Brewers. Speaking of those Dodgers, ESPN hosted its first all-female announcing duo on a broadcast of a Dodgers-Padres game this Wednesday. Jessica Mendoza and Mulaney Newman, the pair in the booth, had already made plenty of history. Newman, a play-by-play regular for the Baltimore Orioles, last year became the first woman to call an Orioles game, while Mendoza became ESPN's first female analyst in 2015. The two broke new ground again Wednesday in a traditionally male-dominated field. That's all the time we have. I'm Jack Cole. Back to you, Shambi.
Competition. Some 4-legged surfers are the stars, showing their humans how it's done. That story coming up next.
Outdoors has never felt more valuable, whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard. Let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
The Chapman community is mourning the loss of 2 significant leaders on our campus. lifetime philanthropist Sebastian Paul Musco passed away at age 95 on September 18th. The Musco Center for Performing Arts, which opened in 2016, is named for Paul Musco and his wife, Mary Bell. He was also a member of the University Board of Trustees and helped advance Chapman's Department of Italian Language and Heritage. The Muscos made significant community contributions beyond Chapman. They have been involved with various organizations, such as the Orange County School of the Arts and the LA Opera. The Chapman community also gathered to remember Fowler law professor Frank Doty at his memorial on Monday. He died in a car accident in July. Professor Doty joined Chapman in 1996. Fowler Dean Matt Parlow paid tribute to him, saying, "It is hard to imagine the Fowler School of Law without Professor Frank Doty. He worked tirelessly for 25 years to help build this great law school. While we'll grieve his loss and will miss him dearly, his legacy lives on here in many forms." During his 25-year career at Chapman, Professor Doty established the Tax Law Emphasis Program and the Tax Law Clinic.
Movie theaters are back with one of the biggest movies of the year opening this weekend. That doesn't mean all is well in Hollywood, though, as film production may shut down again. But COVID may not be the cause.
We have Gracie Shafkit in the Entertainment Center with all the latest tea. Gracie?
Thanks, Barbara. Hi, everyone. I'm Gracie Shafkit, and here's the tea in entertainment. It was just announced Thursday that Scarlett Johansson and Disney have settled their lawsuit. Disney allegedly breached their contract with ScarJo by releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus the same day it was released in theaters. In other news, Hollywood is heading for a big showdown this week. One of the stories being closely watched right now by everyone in the entertainment industry is the IATSE strike that may be authorized this weekend. The union represents all the so-called below-the-line employees in the film industry, such as hair and makeup artists, technicians, designers, and animators. The union members say they're fighting for safer conditions on set, shorter workdays, and mandatory breaks. This would be the first time this union has ever gone on strike. Dodge College film professor Travis Knox says he's worried about the potential impact.
The impact of this strike, if this happens next week, it's going to be devastating to the economy, because for the first time in the history, well, at least modern history, production will come to an absolute halt, and post-production as well.
Wow, the union definitely has some leverage because major studios are planning to ramp up productions after this past year's delays from the pandemic. In other Hollywood legal news, legendary R&B singer and songwriter R. Kelly is now a convicted sex offender. R. Kelly was found guilty in his federal trial on Monday. He was convicted on all 9 counts of charges related to sex trafficking and racketeering. He will be sentenced officially on May 4th, but is looking at a maximum of 100 years in prison. U.S. Attorney Jacqueline Cassilis says R. Kelly used his fame to prey on the young, vulnerable, and voiceless.
To the victims in this case, your voices were heard, and justice was finally served.
Positive note, the 74th Tony Awards were held on Sunday to honor the achievements of Broadway performers. The musicals Jagged Little Phil and Moulin Rouge received the most nominations this year, with the latter winning Best Musical. Other notable moments were 90-year-old Lois Smith winning her first Tony, and she's the oldest woman to ever win a Tony Award. On another red carpet across the globe, the new James Bond movie premiere was celebrated in London after its release was delayed for a year and a half. This highly anticipated film, No Time to Die, features Daniel Craig's last appearance as James Bond. Celebrities like Billie Eilish and Craig's co-star Rami Malek were spotted at the event, but all heads turned when the royal family arrived. Prince William and Prince Charles wore sleek tuxedos, while Duchess Kate Middleton wore a dazzling gold dress and Duchess Camilla wore a sparkling blue dress. Stunning, to say the least. While these incredible celebs appreciate being in the spotlight, some dread it. Netflix released its documentary Britney vs. Spears, and Britney is not happy about it. This film is focused on the legal battle between the pop singer and her father, which lasted over a decade. Her fan base's famous slogan, Free Britney, is a major part of this film. And the movement went viral this past year, and many supporters are relieved to know that Britney's conservatorship ended this week. Although her fans believe the story should gain more attention, Britney says she does not want this traumatizing experience highlighted on streaming services for entertainment purposes. Britney even shared an Instagram post about the New York Times documentary from this year, saying she scratched her head a couple times and how she tries to dissociate herself from the drama. I watched the first documentary and can't wait to watch this new one tonight with a big bowl of popcorn. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Gracie Shafkett for Chapman News. Back to you at the desk.
Paws up, Panthers. There is new competition on the waves in Huntington Beach. Gathering big crowds of dog lovers, surfers, and our four-legged friends was the annual Surf City dog surfing competition. Kinsley Rolfe has the story.
Pups of all ages and breeds were taking on the waves in Huntington Beach last weekend. All the furry contestants had a blast on the water, despite the wipeouts, collisions, and sometimes rough conditions. On the beach, the dog's best human friends cheered them on. We got a chance to talk to some of the four-legged competitors.
How do you feel about being at a surf competition? How are you feeling about the dog surf competition?
He loves it. He's scared of the water, but he loves it.
What do you say, Paul? Oh.
Each canine surfer had 12 minutes to ride their best 5 waves to see who could get the best hang 10. The surfing pooches were judged on their confidence level, length of their ride, and overall ability to ride the wave. Cherie, a French bulldog, was one of the competitors.
She likes to go out and have fun with her dad.
Could take a little more time in the introductions on this one. These guys have kind of a
The unique canine sporting event ended with lots of money going to pet-friendly charities, and people excited for the next one. I'm Kinsley Rolfe for Chapman News.
If you want to see the next Possum dog surfing event in SoCal, the World Dog Surfing Competitions will be live streamed tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the event's Facebook page. Oh my gosh, Shambi. Did you know dogs could surf?
No, but that was so adorable. It makes me miss my dogs from home.
And a quick update on our lead story, the log jam on Capitol Hill. As you know, Democrats are still deadlocked on key votes on the Biden agenda, including the massive infrastructure plan. We're learning now that the president is attending a private meeting this afternoon with Democrats to see if he can bring the moderates and the progressives together. That's it for us this week. Don't miss an episode of Chapman News at www.chapmannews.tv and follow us on social media at Chapman News. I'm Barbara Fox.
And I'm Shambhalin Fairley, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.